Okay, I actually hit record this time. I did a whole YouTube tutorial without hitting record last weekend. I'm here with Chizzy Stevens, a producer based out of Los Angeles by way of Atlanta, Georgia. And this is the first episode of the Fulford's World audio, not video podcast. I just made that name up on the spot, and I think I'm gonna stick with it. So I'm here with Chizzy because he gets artist cuts on a consistent basis, as consistent as artist cuts could be, I guess. You know what I mean? So I'm here. I want to talk to him. I want to ask him some questions about getting artist cuts. We're probably going to talk about sync a little bit, but this episode is going to be focused on artist cuts. If you want to hear about syncs, go on my YouTube channel, Fulford's World, and I talk about syncs ad nauseum. Almost every video is about syncs, so this episode is going to be for artist cuts. So, Chizzy, give some background to the lovely folks out here. Like, what made you move to LA? Like, what's that process? Like the early days of the career, you know?
Yeah, man, definitely. Well, I went to school in Orlando, Florida, and then once I graduated, it was one of those decisions, either LA or Atlanta. And Atlanta was the cheaper route, so that's where I went first. And I was out there for about 4 years. And in the midst of that, I used to go back and forth to LA to network and meet people, work with songwriters, artists, publishers. I mean, the whole shebang. And I had a full-time job at the time. And one trip, I came out here and went back home and was like, man, I'm not happy. And I realized that. And so I literally put in my 2 weeks notice to quit my job like that week. So then I moved to LA. So that was in the top of 2013. At the top, I moved to LA, and I've been out here working, producing, writing, composing. I've worked with artists from Chris Brown, Jennifer Lopez, Justin Bieber. I've worked with tons of songwriters, composed music for over 100 different TV shows. So, yeah, man, I'm loving it.
Oh, that's great. So we were talking before, and it becomes a recurring theme of our conversations, like the difference between writing music for artist placements based on a brief or a spec situation compared to writing with the artist in the room with you. Could you just get into a little bit about which is better, if spec writes are better? I'm not sure. In my opinion, I think artist in the room is better, but just kind of compare those two things.
Yeah, definitely. I think they both have their ups and downs. When you think about spec, usually there's things that'll go around called like the Who's Looking list. That'll have like all the different artists and what they're looking for, who they're writing with, what type of songs, vibes. And then if you have the opportunity to get in with the artist, you know, that personally, I think that's always the better route, but sometimes it doesn't necessarily work like that. So I kind of break that down. So like when you're working on spec or looking at a Who's Looking list, a lot of times you're kind of guessing. These artists say they're looking for this with this type of vibe, and you end up doing this song, and by the time you send that song in, the vibe of that project might have already changed, or it's totally different, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh geez, that's a tough one.
Yes.
So your biggest, like, run through like your three most like the biggest songs that you've done, and kind of just say like, are those been spec rights? Like, how did those come about? Like you know, the J-Lo one where she made a video, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Same girl. That wasn't, I don't even know if you would call that a spec or what, but literally I was in my apartment and I just made that beat and held on to it, because I think I made that beat maybe 2 years. Me and Ryan made it, 2 years before it came out? Yeah. At least 2 years before J-Lo recorded it. So 3 years altogether. But that was just a situation where I made the beat and then sent it in to one of my homies. He sent it to Chris Brown, and Chris Brown wrote the song for J-Lo. And that's how that happened.
Wow.
So, yeah. I think it just kind of depends on the situation. Like, there's really no right or wrong way. I think at the end of the day, if you can get it to an artist or the artist, is the best route to go. Because even the second song I did on that album of hers, it came through a direct connection to her. And her creative director came to me and was like, hey, we're looking for a song with this vibe. And he even had the idea in hand. And
oh, nice.
I just took it and did my thing, and we ran with it, and it ended up on the album at the last minute.
Oh, great. Oh, that's dope. And what about like the Isaac Elliott, like an international? For those of you who don't know, Isaac Elliott is an international artist from
Finland. Yeah, he's
Finland.
on Sony Finland.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So how did that kind of formulate?
So me and Georgia, the girl I wrote it with, we literally just got in to write a song. We didn't really have anybody in mind. I think I just had kind of like this piano and guitar loop going. And yeah, me and her did the song, and then I produced it out, and we just started pitching, and it turned out that Isaac is, I think, he's managed by the same management as Georgia, the girl that I wrote it with. So they heard the song, was like, yo, this is it, and we landed it.
Oh, that's perfect. And that's perfect. And how long since, like, when you wrote it, how much time passed till it came out?
Probably, I would give it, I felt like that one moved pretty fast, actually, but I think it's from the time that we actually wrote the song, he recorded it maybe like 4 to 5 months after that, and then the song came out at the end of the year. So, yeah, I would say about a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a long, process.
Yeah. To me, I think that's short because even with the J-Lo record, she recorded that around April, May of 2013, and the song came out February of 2014.
Oh, wow. So after she recorded it, it was almost a year.
Yeah.
10 months after she recorded it, let alone when you wrote it. It's 2 years from when you did the beat, right?
Did the beat, yeah. So
wow. So so everybody out there, it pays to do music every day, even if you're not making any money yet, if you have nothing going on. A lot of the stuff for sync as well that I've done, it takes years. Someone's looking for something, and it's always a track. Like my track on Rosewood, I did it 5-6 years ago.
Yep.
And I sent the music supervisor all these new tracks that were just finished, and the one they picked was the old one. For whatever, it's like Murphy's Law. So even if you don't have anything going on right now, you have any gigs or anything, keep writing music and make it as good as possible, because a lot of your older stuff in the future will pop off. That's crazy. Yeah. So tell us about the new cut that just came out on Friday.
Yeah, it's a record called "Lose Myself" by Kid.
And that's K question mark D.
Yeah, K question mark D. Super dope record. Shouts out to him. The way that came about was another situation in which I'm gonna kind of talk about a little bit too, is we literally just got in and just wrote a song. We didn't have anybody in mind. It was just me and the homies just vibing out, and we ended up pitching that song. And I say that because I think a lot of new writers like to go in and say, hey, we're gonna write a song for Beyonce or Rihanna and all that stuff. And I used to do the same thing too. And what you end up having is a bunch of songs that sound like this person, and they can't work for anybody else.
Sure.
So I think at the end of the day, you just need to just, have fun and just focus on writing a good song.
Yeah. That's dope. No, that makes sense. And especially because some artists in LA, and this is my opinion, so let me know what you think, because you're more engrossed in this world, but like Rihanna and like Chris Brown, they seem like easier artists to get in with because there's people looking for songs. There's writing camps for Rihanna. Not that's easy to get into, as opposed to like more artists that have like 1 or 2 producers that do all their stuff. Kind of like a Dallas. Like if you're trying to do music for TLC back in the day and you weren't in Dallas, Austin,
right?
It was all but impossible even for Dungeon Family to get that one joint, Waterfalls. Now with the Dungeon Family, could barely get a track with an artist. Is that true? Like there's some artists that are easier, kind of, that are from more outside producers, new producers?
I would definitely say that is a true statement, but I still think it's hard because, you got to think, even with these writing camps, you're in with the top people, like you're competing with all these people, and even at the end of the day, you got to think about that. Your records are up against people like Timbaland and,
sure,
Polo the Don. Like you're competing with I don't like to use the word competing, but you are competing with them at the end of the day.
There's only so many slots for a song.
Only so many slots. So that's why I take it back to just write a great song, and you can just pitch it around and get it everywhere. The thing with camps, now that you mentioned that as well, I think those are good. I think there is some positive things that come out of that, because sometimes the artists are there, and you get to talk to them, fill them out. Excuse me. and that does influence the records or the songs.
Oh, that's good.
So,
You kind of read their face.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. You're in the room vibing out, and they come in, poke their head in, you see them bobbing. It's like you just straight up ask them, like,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah.
Like one song, I won't even say the artist is, he hasn't put music out yet, but we was in a writing camp, and he came in and was feeling the vibe, and he gave us song titles that he liked, and we took this list of song titles, took one and wrote a song off of it, and he ended up using it and buying the track.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. That's dope.
Yeah.
See, that's the way to do it. And have you been to any camps besides ones in LA, or like do you usually go just to ones in LA? Or
I haven't been in a camp in a while. Actually, I went to a writing camp in Atlanta. Yeah, I went to a writing camp in Atlanta.
oh, perfect.
And that was cool. Once again, the artist was there. The song, I can't remember if he recorded a song or not, but basically, even with this, like the direction of the project changed. You know,
Yeah.
even though we had the artist in there, it was so early in the game that the direction changed. You know, so
Same thing happens with Sync. Like, we need a theme song. It needs to be orchestral and light and airy. And then the show comes out and it's gangster.
Yeah.
Or no, they wanted something gangster.
Yeah.
That I'm thinking, like, all right, I could do, because it was a gangster rapper reality show.
Yep.
And they ended up using like playing on the family angle. Like,
Yeah.
okay, here's this rapper with a family. So it was a nice, light orchestral piece.
yeah.
And what's funny about that is there's someone that probably wrote that orchestral piece for something totally different.
Totally different,
And then
yep.
they get a phone call like, hey, your stuff was used in this show. So it's kind of, there's two ways.
Yeah.
There's two ways to look at it. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's super funny. So in the future, like, what are you focusing on, like, now? Trying to get in with artists, just writing good music? You know, what's the focus?
I think now I've definitely scaled back. It used to be like a song a day. Now it's more so about spending the time on the songs that you do, instead of writing 5 songs in a week. Write 2 to 3 really great ones and spend that time producing those out. So definitely that. Developing. There's an artist that I'm developing that I'm really excited about.
Oh,
putting
okay.
Music out.
And what's your name? Can you say? Is it coming out?
Can't say yet.
Oh, okay,
Can't say
cool.
yet.
Okay,
Yeah, but it's
okay.
coming though. It's coming though. So that, and then music for myself, original.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, original music. I'm working on a project that I'm going to be putting out, featuring. I work with so many different talented people who are my
Perfect.
homies and friends, and so I'm gonna put out a project that's going to feature them as well. I don't want to say I'm a quote unquote DJ. But
Sure.
I'm a creator. And
Yeah.
I want to put
Hey,
a project out that features those
perfect.
people. So yeah, that's been some of my priorities.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Oh, that's real cool. Are you thinking of like a live component for that as well? Maybe.
I think there needs to be one. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, but there is going to be some type of live component.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's what the world needs.
Yeah.
Is like more live, creative.
Yeah.
You know, creative stuff like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So genre-wise, when you first moved to LA to now, have you seen a shift in just the general genre of music or subgenre? I mean, I know it's all pop, you know,
Right.
urban kind of. It's not heavy metal, okay?
Right,
So
yeah.
it's not like that, but like the subgenre, like has the music gotten happier? Has it gotten sadder? Like that kind of thing, you know?
I think music has gotten a bit moodier. Not in a bad or, not in a bad way. I think that's good. What I really love about music right now is that the possibilities are endless. Like, everything is all one. Like, I don't even think of genre anymore. It's like, pop music is Migos.
Yeah,
When you like, who would think that Migos are like a pop? Like, they are popular. They are pop culture.
Oh, and by the way, to the audience, if you like Migos, but you're not familiar with their catalog, I know you like Bad and Bougie. That's great, but check out the joint Wishy Washy. That's my favorite.
Oh,
joint.
yeah.
That joint Wishy Washy.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So when you hear that, or you think about the group Ray Sherman, like that, it messes everything up. Like, there are no genres. There are no like limits. Just do music.
Yeah,
you
just
know?
do music.
Yeah.
And if that's just what music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with some of the bands I work with. They're in one lane, and then they're collabing with this artist that's totally. I mean, I can't talk about it on here because it's all yet to be released. But you're like, wait, you're collaborating with who?
Yeah. And,
Okay.
And it's so amazing because you never know what you're gonna get, but you're gonna come up with something that you're in love
Oh,
with.
totally. Like even Dr. Pepper sponsored. Dr. Pepper had that studio at Paramount.
I didn't know that.
Dr. Pepper, they had a little insignia on the wall and
okay.
stuff. And they got RAC in there with RZA.
Wow.
of all. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I think you might have told me
Like,
about
really?
that. That's crazy.
Oh, okay. Like, just like cool stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know? But back in the day, that would almost be a novelty. Run DMC and
Exactly.
Aerosmith, it was like the exception.
Right.
But now it's just like more like cool music is cool music and it
Yeah.
meshes and stuff like
Yeah,
that. You
and,
know?
that's what's amazing. That's what's amazing right now.
Oh, totally. Like, I remember when Swiss Beats remixed Metallica back in the day, I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But now, like Lady Gaga and Metallica did something like for the Grammys,
Yeah.
like, oh, that's dope. Like
Yeah.
that. Let's see. Like that sounds cool. Like I want to watch that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Man, that's funny. So the music's been getting a little moodier. What? So recently, like in the last few years, has the pitching process changed? Like between like getting in with the artist and writing camps, is it more of a shift to one specific way to get tracks? Like cut, or is it just kind of like it's all kind of random and luck, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, I definitely think luck plays a part of it, but I do believe that you create your own luck. There are many different avenues. I mean, you have managers, you have A&Rs, you have publishers. Like, there's so many different avenues. I don't think you can nail down one. Me personally, I've been working on ways to get in through the artists, not necessarily as much with the label, even though I've had cuts come through A&Rs, you know, but most of my success hasn't came through A&Rs. It's usually came through managers or connections through the artists.
Oh yeah, no, that works. I feel you.
Yeah,
and
if it's not direct through the artist, it's through a homie of the artist, a friend of the art. Like some way, if you can get to the artist, has seemed to work in my favor.
And I'll say this because I don't want you to have to say it, but everyone listening out there, A&Rs, for better or for worse, have their own agendas. Sometimes their agenda and your agenda lines up and you land something super easily. Sometimes it doesn't line up and it could be harder. But if you go to the management and the artist, I think the agenda of an artist or a manager lines up more with like a songwriter than an A&R might. That's just my opinion, my nascent view of the artist cut situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know?
It is what it is. At the end of the day, you just got to play the game. Like if you know this person works with this person's in charge of that person, if you have means to get in touch and create with that person, you should do that. Like
totally.
I mean, why not?
Totally. And a good way to do that, and I've been saying this a lot on the internet, like on message boards, and some people take the advice, some people like they kind of like, I don't want to say they hate on it, but they don't want to believe it's true, you know? But the more you go out in Hollywood or in New York and meet people, the better.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like that's like you like if you just moved to LA, let's talk to the person that just moved to LA. They got the U-Haul. They sold all their furniture. They're living like 5 people in a 1-bedroom. They do music. The more you go out and just meet people, and I'm not saying like these networking events that are specifically for networking. I'm just saying go to a cool show.
Yeah,
the easier it's going to be.
Yeah,
you know,
that's definitely one of the things I did when I got out here. It's like I just went out. Events, partying, networking events, just like everything. And this kind of goes back to what I said. It's like you create your own luck. Like putting yourself in these situations gives you the opportunity to meet this person who's working on this or introduce you to that person. Like there's so many times where I've been out somewhere and ran into somebody that I've known but not really connected with.
Sure.
And they're like, yo, good seeing you. I'm working on this project here. We should meet. Now, there are times when they do that and don't really mean it, but it's your job to follow up, stay on top of them, and make it happen.
Totally. And that they might not mean it the first 8 times, but that 9th time, somehow you just got them the right. They saw a picture on Facebook with you and their boss at some other thing, or whatever, a billboard.
Yeah, I mean, people are legit busy, so it's nothing personal. Just, do your job and follow up.
And things change up. They might get some super red alert thing the next day that they can't even mess with the stuff that they're talking about, you know? Yep. And it's funny because I was with a young lady at Bardot for school night, and then she goes, "Oh, I hardly leave the house. I only go out when it's a networking event." And I was like, "No, don't do that. Like those, like you got to just go to cool stuff."
Yeah, you just got to get out. Speaking of Bardot, for the listeners, if you're in Hollywood, you should definitely check that out on Monday nights.
School night.
School night. Yeah, it's always a good creative crowd.
Definitely every Monday night. Bardot, sponsored by Sound Exchange, I believe. Yeah. And I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Doritas, but I could be wrong on that.
I didn't know that's how you pronounce his last name.
Yeah, Doritos. Yeah,
I was
totally.
gonna say it. I didn't know if I was gonna say it right.
Esteemed music supervisor of what's that show?
I know who you're talking about.
The dude. I'm blanking. It's a cool show on Showtime about consultants in Los Angeles. Totally forgot. I don't even know if it's still on anymore, but I watch it. Like it's a good show. But he soups that. Great night. I've been going to school night more and more.
Yeah.
You know, I probably went twice so far this year, and like I probably went twice ever before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's definitely a lot of great bands. What Dexstar bands? But Urban Cone played this year on Dexstar. They're really great from Europe. And then Nudes played. That's NVDES. I got to plug the Dexstar acts that are playing school night. They're a great band out of LA. So that's perfect. What other things? Like, what would you say? Like, that's a good point. If someone's here in LA, or let's say they come to LA for a week, like because everyone takes that exploratory trip, right?
Yeah.
Like I took it,
I did
like the
multiple trips like that.
exploratory trip.
Yeah.
Where would you think, like, what would be the spots that they should go to, like event-wise, that are kind of open to the public, they're not super private, that they could go just get a vibe of what's popping out here? So
Well,
school night's one, you know.
Yeah,
school
but
night.
see, I didn't discover school nights. I actually like started living here. I'll take you back to when I first got out here. Some of the first things that I did was I reached out to ASCAP. I went over there. I met the people at ASCAP, and they plugged me in with a bunch of different songwriters. So I started meeting people that way. I went before I even moved to LA. I went to the Billboard Film and TV Conference.
Okay, I hit that too, for sure.
Yeah, I went there. That was my first ever time in LA. I came out here specifically for that. I ended up meeting Kier, the music supervisor.
Kier, the homie. You know what? We're not going to say his last name on here because if someone wants to holler at him, they got to Google him. I was about to say, his last name, but
And what's so crazy about that is like maybe 4 years later, I eventually landed something with him on one of his TV shows. So, you know, just going back to relationships and networking. But so yeah, the Billboard Film and TV Conference, and then I was lucky to have some friends who are DJs and fashion designers, so they would take me out to clubs and stuff. And just being out in the clubs, like, you meet tons of people. Like, just this weekend, I was at an event and met a guy who's starting to develop a project, and he's looking for people to score it. So I'm like,
perfect,
cool, you know. And that was just random. I was just out grabbing a drink with
totally,
no networking on my mind or anything. So, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Even if, and like, I don't really consider myself an extrovert at all, honestly. But what I've found is I know my style, and I know I can be introverted at times. So I'm not the person that go into networking events like, hey, I'm such and such. Oh, good to meet you. Like, totally. I go in and I at least make it a goal to meet 1 to 3 people.
Oh, dope.
And I think if you can focus on that and building solid relationships with those people, I think that takes it a long way rather than getting 50 business cards and just sitting on them, you know?
Great point.
And trying to develop those relationships.
We got to tell the audience that, because those, like, the hyperactive networkers, they make me nervous.
Yeah.
Because I automatically think, I automatically think their music isn't good because they're so overeager.
Right.
And their music could be super tight, but I don't know, you know? Like, I was at an event overseas last year, and there was, like, one of those, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, walking up and down playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to be that dude.
No.
But it works for people. Like, some people can do that. Like, one of my best friends, like, he's good at being that type of networker. Me, that's just not my style.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, so when it comes to networking, I would definitely say kind of figure out what works best for you, what type of environments, and, you know, adjust.
Sure.
Play to your strengths.
And even now, because of the internet, you can network online.
Man, the internet, that we haven't even talked about the internet.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, on Instagram.
A lot of the meetings when I first started coming to LA and meeting with publishers and songwriters came through the internet, whether that was Twitter, Instagram. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
And then I believe there's a Dexstar Billboard article that details this, but one of the Dexstar artists got contacted Dexstar over the internet.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? And got signed. You know,
crazy.
like over the internet. You know, so internet
Beautiful
definitely
thing.
helps because a lot of times you could collect your thoughts before you hit somebody up.
Yeah,
you know?
and I wouldn't. The internet is an amazing thing, but I wouldn't solely rely on that.
Oh, totally.
Use it as just another Tool in the toolbox.
Oh, another avenue. You know, I hate to get into one of the back in my day tropes, but back in my day, we didn't have TiVo. We didn't have Kier, the supervisor on Twitter. You had to figure out who souped the show and call them. You know what I'm saying? Now you could tweet a supervisor, hey, great show. I love track 3. I love that band. And build some sort of relationship online. And then when you meet them in person, send their music. And it's like they kind of already know you.
Yeah.
And I would assume it's for A&Rs too. If you're like
it's the same way.
chatting with A&Rs like on Twitter or something in a really respectful and smart manner, and then you go to send them music, they're going to like, that's solicited. They're not going to say, I don't accept unsolicited material. Like they'll probably like listen to it and like want it.
Yep.
But back in the day, there was no Twitter. There was barely IMDb to look up who souped the show. You had to call the show production office, act like you worked on the show to get. You'd be like,
dropping
hello,
gems.
I just need the music. Well, who's the music supervisor in this project? Like talk really fast and mumble, and then they'll give it to you. Then find the phone number of the supervisor, call them.
See, I never had to do that. Those are gems.
So now you're gonna put the supervisor on Twitter and a music conference down the street, like LA music conference. Oh, that's it? Like I don't have to cold call, make 500 cold calls, you know? So that like the internet really, that's why I'm totally stoked on this day and age of music is you can find that kind of stuff super easy.
And building onto that is once you started building that relationship with the internet, like you meet that person, take them out for coffee, grab a drink, meet them at their office, like build that face-to-face time with those people as well.
Oh yeah, because A&Rs, just much like music supervisors, but we'll focus on A&Rs because that's what this episode is about. They need new music.
Yeah.
That's their job. And I give some A&Rs a hard time about partying and not working, but their job is to get new music. Like if they don't have new music, then that's a really big problem. You know what I mean? So they're looking for new music. It's just if your music fits with what they're looking for.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, they get so much music on a day-to-day basis. Like you got to be aware of that and conscious of it, and don't take it personally if they don't hit you back on the 5 best songs you thought you sent over.
And here's the good story. Like even like this dude hit me up and he had jazz. I'm like, I don't need no jazz, dude. Like then he's like, well, what do you need? You need EDM? I'm like, yeah, but if you don't make EDM as like your main love, I got guys that'll make EDM all day. So
yep.
So then a month later, guess what I need? I need jazz. Like bad, like imminent jazz. When music supervisors are telling me, yo, we need jazz like right now. So I'm scrambling for jazz. So, but 2 weeks before, I was like, I don't need no jazz. What do I need jazz for? Or do I look like Thelonious or whatever, But, fast forward a couple weeks or a month, and I'm like scouring everyone I know for jazz.
Yeah.
So just because something doesn't work for a specific person that day, just keep in touch every once in a while. And I think like the best way, and let me know if this is the same for A&Rs, but I'm thinking it is. Like if I was hitting up A&Rs and I was going to follow up, I'd follow up with some, instead of asking like, what do you need right now?
Right.
I'd be like, hey, check this out. I landed this.
Yeah.
Is there anyone looking for something similar? I did this like a news bite about yourself.
Exactly.
So you're just not
strategic
asking them.
follow-ups.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm playing this concert, or I'm boo, 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 boo.
Right.
Or I have tickets to this. Hey, you have this Grammy party event thing. I want to talk to you, but why don't you come to this hard to get into event?
Yeah. It's the same. It's the same way. Same way with A&Rs. And I think it depends on what's your relationship with them as well. Like if you have a good relationship with them, just like, yo, check out this new record, or yo, I'm working on this and that. We did this. Maybe this fits something that you're working on. There's different ways of going about it.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. It sounds like there's a lot of similarities between the music supervisor hustle and the A&R hustle. Which,
it is. And then, like it goes back to relationships. It's like with A&Rs can put you in with the artists. Like there's a band that I've worked with that's super dope. They're named Jakubi, Jakubi.
Okay, everybody look that up.
Yeah, they're dope. Yeah, but my homie was the A&R, and he was like, yo, Chiz, I got this new band. You should get in with them. He put us in, and we wrote some really great songs.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So that stands a good chance of them putting it out because they already wrote it.
Right.
It's already finished.
Yeah, so they're part of it.
You know what I'm saying? To make them a part of it. That's good. Okay, so before we wrap up, give the people and myself a couple pieces of gear that you've been really feeling lately with a soft synth, just something that people
Yeah.
could look up and kind of vibe on?
That's a good question. The last synth that I've been playing with is Serum.
Serum.
I've always been a guy that used Spire and Omnisphere, but I've been working with a few other producers, and they put me onto Serum.
Serum. That seems to be. I haven't got it yet, but
Yeah, it's dope. I
Everyone's been
literally
talking about
just
it.
started messing with that like in the last 2-3 weeks.
yeah. And I'm writing a lot of TV and film music. We're like these like super like younger cats, and they all seem to be using Serum
Yeah.
now. Like
Yeah.
they don't like.
So
they're-
are we late to the party?
Well, I mean, I know I'm late because I don't have it. You're already using it. I know
Yeah,
I'm
I
late.
just got it.
And they're like I use like Sylenth and Spire, and they're like, hey, can you bounce that to audio? We don't have those.
Oh, that's
And I'm
crazy.
like, bro, really? You know, so that's pretty interesting. But they do have Omnisphere. Again, whenever I mention a Spectrasonics product, I have to pause the show and say, Eric Persing, holler at me. My email is on my YouTube channel.
Tell them.
Let's just vibe. Can we just vibe with Eric Persing? Can we make some sound? I just want to hear some Eric Persing game. So if anyone knows Eric Persing, or if Eric Persing's listening, we got Chizzy Stevens and John Fulford here. We just want to talk to the master. Oh, this is really funny. Before we go, it's funny. A mutual friend of Chizzy and I used to work at an audio company, and they sent me a demo of one of their VSTs, and I had to give them my email and get the alot and all these hoops. I'm like, look, I don't feel like installing this demo because I have to do all these hoops.
Yeah.
Can I just play it? And they're like, well, Omnisphere, you need to do all this stuff. I was like, yo, that's Eric Persing. That's Omnisphere. Omnisphere 3 comes out at 6 a.m., but I'll be like the shoe people
Right.
and like the video game people. They're waiting outside GameStop.
Got it.
There's Anderson Paak record signing thing at Urban Outfitters just when I was walking up here. I'll be like one of those people for Omnisphere. I'll be waiting
Yeah.
6 a.m. with my credit card in my hand, all excited and stuff like that. So that's cool that a piece of gear could elicit that response.
It's like toys, new shoes for us. Like people wait in line for shoes, we wait in line for gear.
Yeah, dude, totally. Like, so they set the piano on fire and then
Right.
played it.
Oh, the burning piano.
The burning piano.
Yeah.
Or another one that gets used a lot. If y'all want to look this patch up, broken amp lead.
Oh yeah.
That gets used in a bunch of now today. You know, like it's used in a bunch of stuff, dude. Like that's like the patch when you first get Omnisphere.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna use this patch.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's funny. Well, cool. So before we wrap up, you want to tell the audience anything? Just plug everything. You
Yeah,
wanna plug.
man. I don't know when this is coming out, but check out Kiz. That's K?D. New single called "Lose Myself." Had the pleasure of co-writing that. Follow me on all my socials: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. It's your boy Chizzy. And also, if you go to my website, it's yourboychizzy.com, and that's YABOYCHIZZY. And hit me up. Let's connect.
Yeah. Great having you. First episode of the Audio Not Video podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, yeah, it's dope. It's going up. Well, these people are hear it when it's up, but it's going up as soon as I get the motion graphic done. If you're listening to this, I hope it's a picture of the Hollywood sign with twinkling big mansions in the background, but instead of Hollywood, it says Fulford's World. That's what's in my head, so we'll see if it comes out. You know what I mean?
Sounds boss.
So everybody, if you're listening to this on iTunes, go to youtube.com and just type in Fulford's World in the search, FULFORD, and you can subscribe to my channel for more videos and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, right? Thanks for listening, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one.
Peace.